of their failure was that Rahul Gandhi, went on a vacation midway because he realized that his Chhatro ki Goonj is not getting any traction with the larger masses except for the Congress support system. And of course, in the case of CJP, this communist support, that's been very open. But it was intriguing that their communist leaders should be visiting the Chinese embassy event ahead of the parliament session, the monsoon session that begins on July 20. And that's why we thought we should bring out those pictures. Shivangi.
That's right. Stay on with us, Abhishek, because I want our viewers to also have a look at these pictures. And you're, of course, helping our viewers understand that since the left is not really going anywhere, do you think the left is trying to gain whatever support that they can? Is the meeting between the left leaders and the Cockroach Janata Party leaders is a political convenience?
Well, more than political convenience, it's seeking relevance. And it's essentially the communist leadership trying to get some toehold or attempting to get some toehold. They have obviously failed at all levels, except for some pockets of influence here and there, essentially on campuses like the JNU. And that's why we have seen from the day one left student organizations like the SFI and the AISA, ISA as it is called, coming in and providing some element of, an attempt at showing that there is some kind of student support to the CJP, which obviously it's not there. Otherwise, it would have got reflected in the other protests that the CJP has held in cities outside of New Delhi. And that's why everything ultimately fizzling out at other places. They have come back to Jantar Mantar because there is some level of critical mass available so far as the left student bodies are concerned. And that's why the communist leaders sort of blessing this movement, trying to sustain it. Of course, they are not succeeding insofar as mass support is concerned, but within their ecosystem, within their echo chamber, you are seeing they are trying to prop it up till the time that they can. And in that backdrop, to be meeting the Chinese embassy, as I said, Chinese embassy and the Chinese ambassador can be seen in the pictures. But as I said, Shivangi, that the communist China connection is an open secret. So it's, but the fact that it's coming in between these two events, the CJP protests and the monsoon session of Parliament, makes us wonder whether there is some kind of coordination that's being done to sustain this movement, which is essentially an anarchist movement and is aimed at destabilizing the government of the country.
That's right. Abhishek, I want to stay on. I want you to stay on with our viewers because our viewers who are watching right now really want to know a little bit more about the questions specifically that Republic TV has raised. We have been saying that the massive following is it's inorganic. That's something that Republic has talked about earlier, and there were reports of that. A lot of questions have been raised as well, Abhishek, on foreign funding. How is how is he running this? In fact, many journalists have questioned their spokespersons directly about how are they running their entire party. So when we look at these pictures, does something ring a bell, Abhishek?
Well, you see, so far as sustaining these protests are concerned, remember, Shivangi, it has been discussed so many times already that who's really bankrolling this protest, who's bankrolling this movement, if it can be called that, or an attempt to create a movement, who's supporting it, what are the forces that are behind creating a Gen Z kind of movement where none existed in the country. We have seen open political statements of support coming in from the likes of none other than Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal of the Aam Aadmi Party. We have seen support being provided by the communist parties and their student wings to the CJP. We have seen the Congress parallelly trying to start its own students' campaign based on the NEET paper leak, but obviously it did not succeed.
Absolutely.
I believe we have somebody on the phone line, Shivangi.
Yes, we have with us. I think we're getting some We're getting some reactions coming in. If you could confirm. Okay, Mr. Dinesh Vrashani, senior CPIM leader, is joining us. Abhishek, would you like to take that over? All right, I'll go first. Mr. Dinesh, can you hear us?
Can.
All right, I just want to ask you, we're discussing about these pictures that the CPI leader, MA Baby, D. Raja, they were at a Chinese embassy event just after meeting the founder of CJP. What exactly was that event about at the Chinese embassy?
It's an absolute rubbish imagination of your television channel or whosoever has reported to you. The CJP protest in Delhi at Jantar Mantar is a protest by the students, and more than 30 student organizations have joined that protest. And whatever the event was there in Chinese embassy, that was the foundation day ceremony of the CPC, Communist Party of China, and in which the left parties of India have joined it because they have fraternal relations with the Chinese Communist Party. Even BJP have a fraternal relations with the Chinese Communist Party. Even Congress have a fraternal relation with the Chinese Communist Party. It is all rubbish. This is an imagination to tarnish the justified movement of the student community, youth community of the country against the paper leak, against the unemployment, against the attack on public education and closing the 98,000 government schools. This is all to hide the chori of the Modi government. Chori of the Modi government, not only in Ram Mandir, but each and every public services through privatization, through contractualization, handing over the entire public services, try to attempt to give the jungles to the monopoly, a particular one or two monopoly. It is an attempt by the monopolization.
Mr. Varshney.
Always the justified movement in last 14, 12 years under the Modi
Mr.
government
Varshney.
has been directed against this insinuation against them.
Mr. Varshney,
Movement.
in fact, what you are saying is insinuation or rather communist trope that this is about privatization, liberalization, which incidentally began under the Congress government of Narasimha Rao and Manmohan Singh. And Manmohan Singh during the UPA years when the Communist parties supported the UPA government carrying on with liberalization and privatization programs. But my question is that no. My question is, but we are staying on the present. My question is, Mr. Varshney, and you are liberty to answer as per your ideological position. My question is, you visit the CJP protests. It's part of democracy. You can be there, but going to a Chinese embassy event and then this meeting or this attending the event happens just ahead of the parliament session. Obviously, when we know the kind of connection that the Communist Party has had historically with the Chinese Communist Party, and when CJP is clearly seen as an anarchist attempt at creating discord in society, then why should we not connect the dots?
First of all, the CJP protest at Jantar Mantar is not an anarchist attempt. The anarchist attempt is the Ram Mandir Chori. The Dakati is Ram Mandir Chori. And
are you a believer of Ram Mandir, Mr. Varshney?
Attending the event at Chinese.
Are you a believer of? Have you become a believer of Lord Ram and the Ram Temple suddenly, Mr. Varshney?
No, it's not a question whether I believe in God
because
or not.
Are you in pain? Like as a believer, I am in pain because of the theft at Ram Temple. Are you in pain?
Obviously, I am in pain against every chori of the people's money. Whether it is in Ram Mandir or Badrinath or Kedarnath or any religious shrine. If I don't believe in God does not mean that you are allowed to have the chori in the religious and sanctums of the country. This is absolutely absurd.
Okay, now, I don't know whether you are saying you're not a believer of Ram Temple, but you are saying you are pained at the chori, which is granted. But now my next question, which was about why should we not connect the dots when a visit to the Chinese embassy of the communist leadership comes in between CJP protests and the parliament session?
Not only communist leadership has visited the parliament. Aam Party has visited, Congress MP have visited, NCP MP has visited, Samajwadi Party MLA and MP visited, even other political parties are visiting, because it is the justified movement of the student community and youth community of the country against the designated, against the well-thought paper leaks, to avoid the employment of the youth, to keep the youth and students away from developing the scientific temperament and leading toward the parochial idea of conservativeness.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dinesh Varshney, for sparing your time and joining us with your perspective. With that, we hand it over back to the studio. Over to you, Shivangi.
Well, thank you, Abhishek, for helping our viewers understand and decode these pictures that we are seeing on our screens, on our pictures. Are raising many questions. Major controversy erupting over left leaders meeting the Cockroach Jantar Party leaders and Chinese officials. This is a controversy breaking out just days before Parliament session. This is a story will be setting the national agenda because many questions are being raised. Top left leaders are seen with Deepke at Jantar Mantar and with the Chinese envoy. So to show you those pictures, we have put out on your screen what is happening. First, we saw that M.A. Baby and Brinda Karat, both of them CPI leaders, met Abhijit Deepke, the Cockroach Jantar Party founder. And shortly after that, he was the left leaders were seen at a Chinese embassy event, which is raising questions once again about the foreign links and funding links. These are questions which have been raised again and again about the Cockroach Jantar Party. Many questions have been raised about Cockroach Jantar Party and their so-called following. So those are some questions which have been raised specifically. Critics raising questions about how did the Cockroach Jantar Party get so many followers. Also, there has been a lot of questions about the foreign funding, if there's any foreign funding, inorganic bot campaign that Deepke could be using to inflate his follower numbers, and the suspicious spikes of followers from outside India. And that is something that we have been talking about. Critics have been raising these questions. On your screen, this is Republic, super exclusive, showing you these two pictures and a really asking question that is there a China link which is coming out. So getting you back-to-back updates coming in here, viewers of Republic TV. A major controversy has now erupted with these pictures. Of course, we'll be discussing this story the entire day. Major controversy erupting over left leaders meeting the Cockroach Jantar Party officials, leaders and Chinese officials. China Cockroach Jantar Party controversy breaks out just days before Parliament session. Okay, let's put out some more pictures which are coming in for our viewers. So on your screen, there are two pictures. Left-hand side, you can see that the left leaders are at a Chinese embassy event. Now, we did speak to the left leader right now, and they said that they denied all the allegations completely, but the pictures show a different story. On the right-hand side, you can see that the same leaders, specifically M.A. Baby, is seen speaking to Deepke and Sonam Wangchuk, both of them present at that protest. So these events happened in a very short duration of time, which is raising many questions about links which could be coming out. Like our senior executive editor was saying, that is this an attempt of the left to gain relevance at a time, right now, at these politically, at this time, because we see that the left has been trying to gain relevance. And could this be a tactic from this side? But the bigger question is that is there a China link to the Cockroach Jantar Party? So major controversy erupting over left leaders meeting the Cockroach Jantar Party founders and Chinese officials. China Cockroach Jantar Party controversy breaking out. Remember that the Parliament session is going to begin very soon. So just before that, we see that there has been these pictures which have come out. All right, we're getting some more reactions coming in. Saira Shah Halim, CPIM leader, is joining us. Thank you for joining us here. My question to you is, we have spoken to another senior CPIM leader a short while back, and when we asked them that what were the CPIM leaders really doing at that Chinese embassy event, we did not really get a straight answer. Could you please tell us what this picture we are seeing is all about. Why did CPIM leaders meet the cockroach of the party founder and then was seen immediately at this event, Chinese embassy event?
See, the question is not who met the CJP people. The point is Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan resigning or not? There is someone, Sonam Wangchuk, who is, on a hunger strike for more than 18 days and his situation is precarious. Now the government is on the back foot very clearly, so they are cooking up these, narratives of China link and this link and that link. The point is that the next NET paper leak is Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan and is the BJP government taking accountability of the derails in the education system or not? That is the bigger question. The bigger question is not about who came and met CJP, whether it was the left or the right or the Congress. The bigger question is that the BJP should not deflect on a very, very different issue. Had it been any other country, the education minister would have stepped down by now and taken moral responsibility of so many people who had to end their lives because of the NET paper leak and the scams going on in the education system. That is a bigger question that you journalists and Republic should ask.
Saira, we have asked that question when it happened, and the democratic right to protest is legitimate. It's there. Communist leaders visiting CJP protest site is legitimate. It's there. But we have to question whether the visit to the Chinese embassy ahead of the parliament session and in between the CJP protests, and given the kind of ideological coming together of interest we have seen between the CJP and the communist leadership, that's why we are asking this question, Saira.
I don't think, I don't know who visited the Chinese embassy, but today if there is a Chinese
on air,
embassy...
Saira, it's both Mr. M.A. Babi and D. Raja.
No, 1 second. If a Chinese embassy exists in India or in Delhi, the Indian government knows about it, that the consulate exists, the embassy exists. It's not that it is operating in a cohort manner, right? So it's a legit organization that exists. So the point is that we should stop making and floating these controversy narrative and stories and put pressure on the government to ensure that the scams in the education system, they are done away with, and that the education minister has to take accountability of whatever is happening. It's as simple as that.
All right. I think we'll let you go there. Thank you so much, Saira Shah Aleem, joining us. But the story of the top communist leadership of the country meeting the Chinese ambassador, attending a Chinese embassy event, and before that going to the CJP protests, giving full support and providing ground ballast to the CJP, where it has failed to grow organically, where it has failed to get any traction organically on its own, clearly suggests that there is coming together of the communist movement and the CJP, which was sought to be projected as a student movement and an organic Gen Z kind of protest, which obviously it is not. And that's what these pictures really expose, that CJP is not a Gen Z movement, not a youth movement. It is more like a communist movement. The communist parties trying to jockey on piggybacking on one leader by the name of alleged leader by the name of Dipke, and trying to present that as some kind of organic protest. Back to you, Shivangi.
All right. Abhishek, our senior executive editor, really explaining to us what exactly is happening in the story, and really talking about it in details, what these pictures really mean. So on your screens, we have put out those two pictures. In fact, I want to come back to you, Abhishek. I want to come back to you because we will be talking about the story the entire day. This is a super exclusive Republic. But also, these pictures, we will be discussing these pictures further. Now we understand that there are so many allegations which have come in. We have been speaking about this. We're talking about pump and dump bot campaigns. Maybe the followers are inorganic. Who is funding Deepke? In fact, Deepke, who was studying in United States, has come all the way back here in India. He was studying in US, came back here in India. There's so many questions being raised. And of course, who is meeting right now is telling a different story altogether about what exactly is going on with the cockroach Jantar Party. Abhishek.
Well, you see, Shivangi, we had two communist voices, Dinesh Varshney earlier and Saira Shah Halim now. And both did not really deny the communist connections to the movement. They are owning it up. They are not saying it's wrong. They are, in fact, giving an ideological legitimacy or seeking to give ideological legitimacy to the attendance of communist leaders, both at the CJP protests and the Chinese embassy event. What is important is that the picture that was sought to be projected, that this is some kind of organic Gen Z movement, that students are coming together and they are trying to corner the government on the NEET paper leak issue. While the NEET paper leak issue stands, while there was absolute lack of oversight, even maladministration, lack of systems which led to the paper leak happening from within the mechanism that was put in place by the NTA. While the government has owned up some bits of it, maybe not to the extent that it should have by way of rolling off heads, maybe it will happen later. But what is important is that the students' paper leak issue was sought to be used to create civic unrest, to create social unrest, to create discord in the society, to create anarchy, and that fizzled out. And in the backdrop of that, an attempt was made to project CJP as some kind of Gen Z movement on the lines of what happened in Nepal, what happened in Bangladesh, the likes of Manish Sisodia, even Arvind Kejriwal, Rahul Gandhi. They sought to, actually use the word Gen Z movement. When they realized that CJP on its own, even with communist student bodies' support, is not, rising to the occasion, the Congress took things in its hands. They tried to do this Chhatro Ki Goonj event. Even that failed after one event in Kota. And then Rahul Gandhi went on a vacation. When the Congress party is in crisis in Punjab, when the Congress party couldn't mobilize enough of student support to sustain this Chhatro Ki Goonj movement. And then obviously, question needs to be asked whether these were inorganic protests aimed at creating unrest in society ahead of the monsoon session. And then in that backdrop, this meeting comes with the Chinese embassy, and that's why we are asking this question.
Yes, in fact, that's right, Abhishek. This is a major controversy that we are tracking of how the CPI has now jumped in at CJP leader Abhijit Dipke now. And also, Abhishek, could you tell us how do you see this as a pre-planned in a way where the whole Jantar Mantar controversy where the protests erupted there in June, and now with this latest meeting that has surfaced, do you think that this was the plan of the CPI all along to join hands with CJP, or do you think that they just joined now as a CJP has emerged as a major face of the opposition? Would you see it that way?
Well, good question, Amrita. Remember when the communist leaders Brinda Karat and M.A. Babi visited the CJP protest site at Jantar Mantar in New Delhi, and that was on June 29th, a question was asked of them whether they had come late. They said, no, we are not late. In fact, we have been with the CJP from day one, and we have been providing them ballast. The student bodies of the communist parties, SFI and ISA, they have been present there on the ground, carting in their student members from the JNU right to the Jantar Mantar. And despite that, it did not really gain any traction with the larger student community. And then you have these leaders, have this tendency or propensity to support Magsaysay award winners, like it happens in the case of Sonam Wangchuk. Now, even that fast, it's 17th or 18th day today that Sonam Wangchuk is on a fast. Nobody cares. Nobody is, except for this small ecosystem, call it Latian's lobby. They are sort of backing him up, that too only on social media and not actually physically on the ground. even Sonam Wangchuck would have realized that this support that he gets is more in the nature of lip service. I'm, just sort of tempted to use that Hindi phrase which is apt for this situation, where, Charja beta suli pe bhala karenge Ram. Now for 18 or 19 days, Sonam Wangchuck is sitting on a fast, not getting any traction, not getting any attention, except for that very small microcosm and the micro community of activists from the left. So, these people have become directionless. Having said that, the attempt was clearly to create social unrest in the society. And obviously now it has failed. But to get in the Chinese embassy in the mix is something which needs to be, asked questions about. Raman Malik, a BJP voice, joins us, I believe, over the phone. Raman Malik, you have seen these pictures of communist leaders visiting the CJP protests and now also visiting the Chinese embassy. And this meeting comes, or the program comes ahead of a monsoon session of Parliament. Your take on that?
See, every session of the parliament, Abhishek, there is some fiasco or the other created by external forces, whether it is through the Soros foundations, whether it is through somebody else. But the most important point here is one must look into, which is that the left, which generally was opposing Congress, and even in the elections of the Kerala Assembly, they fought against the Congress, are today widely, whenever it comes to any major issue, they support the Congress. It is the same Congress which has signed the contract with the CPC in 2008. Now, the question which is arising here is, what is the ecosystem? And my request is, if anybody from the NIA and others are listening into this program ever, that they should look into and investigate all these connections. And the very fact that these very same people, even Sonam Wangchuck and the Congress as well as the CPI and the left parties, they always come forward to say that China is occupied. Are they trying to certify the idea of China to occupy Indian territories? The unrest in India, why is it that they are always so happy about it and they are supporting it? I have written earlier also, Abhishek, that China has a policy worldwide that they will use your fault line, the fault lines in your law, the fault lines in your constitution, the fault line in your society for their benefit. Now, the same fault lines, whether it is the availability of democracy. Why I'm saying it is a fault line? Because China does not have democracy. But these people use the democracy to work against the democracy. They use the constitution against the constitution. They use the law against the law. So these people are basically parasites on the Indian democracy and they must be looked at. Now, saying that your freedom of expression is infringed in this nation where you are allowed to even call for the assassination of the incumbent Prime Minister, there cannot be a bigger, more evident proof of democracy and freedom of expression being there. And still, these people have the audacity to work with the enemies of the state. The point is very simple, that they always take direction from people who are sitting there, are in our northeast, especially northeast, not the sister states, the Indian territory. No, the northeast of India is China, and China making sure that the mainland China plus the occupied territories which they have, they try to engulf, they try to take more territories, and these people, they have no problems with that. Now, same ways, I believe that those people should be looked into. The NIA should also ask for the Congress government from the Congress party to make public the memorandum of understanding that they have signed with the Communist Party of China and let the people know what they are up to. These people, Tukde gang, the people involved in the Bharat Todo Brigade or the Bharat Breaking India Brigade, they are all hands in glove. So point here is, who is funding the entire thing? You know, I've seen reports, and most of the people would have seen reports in various social media feeds also.
You're right.
Not just food, not just pizzas, not just anything. Even beer is available in this protest in the evening. How is it possible? Is this a protest or is it a party?
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Raman Malik, for joining us and for giving us all of your insights on this latest development that's coming in at the moment. CJP leaders and CPI leaders now in hands and also meeting with Chinese embassy. Just seen visiting Chinese embassy and also meeting Chinese officials on this, raising major controversy as well. And we'll be back on this story right after a very short break, as the latest that we're tracking on Republic, as there has been a China link that's been linked to the CJP, as the leaders of CPI and also CJP are seen with meeting each other and Chinese officials within days, coming up after a short break.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा सिप। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा सिप।
जीरा सिप, असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा सिप। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा सिप।
जीरा सिप, असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
ये वही हैं, ये प्रश्न उठाने वाले लोग वही हैं जो लोग आज श्री राम जन्मभूमि में चोरी के बारे में इतना हो हल्ला कर रहे हैं। याद करना, श्री राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर के बारे में प्रश्न उठा रहे हैं। घटना जो भी घटित हुई,
Welcome back, viewers, and we move on to a major focus story. The West Asia conflict has entered another dangerous phase. The United States has launched a fresh round of strikes against Iran, saying that the attacks are aimed at degrading the Tehran's strike capabilities, even as reports emerge of fierce clashes in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Iran, meanwhile, also claimed that he has struck military targets in Bahrain and Kuwait, raising fears of an even wider regional escalation. Let us take a look at this report with the latest developments in the West Asian region.
The United States has launched a fresh wave of strikes on Iranian targets, with Washington saying the attacks are intended to weaken Iran's ability to carry out further missile and drone strikes. The strikes come just ahead of an unexpected naval blockade around Iran, further raising tensions in the Gulf. Iran has responded by announcing the third phase of Operation Nasser II. IRGC claims its drones targeted enemy warehouses at Sheikh Isa Air Base in Bahrain and the MQ-9 drone ramp at Ali Al Salim Air Base in Kuwait. With fresh US strikes, expanding Iranian retaliation and active fighting, fears of a wider regional conflict continue to grow, with global shipping routes and oil supplies now under increasing threat.
Coming up after a very short break, a day after Tamil Nadu government issues anti-bribery helpline, TVK leader caught red-handed accepting bribes. Coming up next.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
Ladies and gentlemen, we suspect that Pakistan is back to its old and dirty tricks again, and we have proof which has come with us that they are planning some terrorism in response to our firm decision to keep the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance. Now, we've kept the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance post Pahalgam because that is what they deserve. These are of Lashkar terrorists being trained with some hyperbolic jihadi music in the background, and they are being trained by the Lashkar-e-Toiba. This footage has come out. They are being trained by a US designated Lashkar terrorist called Haris Dar. And these are all Lashkar terrorists. They are being trained, and they are being trained in dams, in waters of dams in Pakistan, and he is addressing these water jihad recruits in front of a water body, and he says, "Agla step hamara dam mein aata hai, Mangla Dam mein. Our issue over water is with India." And then he wants and says, something bigger is going to happen in 2026. That's the video of him on the right, where he says something big is going to happen over the water issue in 2026. Then he's parroting the line of the Pakistani government. Remember, the man on the right is not just any fanatic. He's a US designated, very well-known Lashkar-e-Toiba commander, training what is being called as a water force and preparing them to attack India from a new front. And he's saying repeatedly that 2026 something big is coming. Therefore, this is clear proof that Pakistan is intending to carry out terrorism, targeting India's water.
Viewers, major breaking news coming in at the moment from Maharashtra. This regarding Ramesh Mhatre, the Shiv Sena co-operator, who has gotten away out on bail and after assaulting 2 doctors. And here he's seeing the visuals where he was assaulting verbally and physically abusing healthcare workers. And now he's out. He's out. The question is he out on a VVIP card? And the leader who assaulted doctors, he gets bail on a 50,000 cash bond, where he gave it to go out on the grounds that he was suffering from high blood pressure. The question is, how was his blood pressure when he was, in fact, very aggressively assaulting healthcare workers during that episode? Now, I have also, Republic, in fact, spoke to the doctor who have, in fact, said that he was suffering from the high blood pressure as well, and Republic has had a conversation, exclusive conversation with the Dr. Rahul Lahekar on Ramesh Mhatre. Let's take a listen to that.
डॉक्टर, अभी रमेश मात्रे का हेल्थ कंडीशन कैसा है?
अभी भी है, बीपी हायर साइड में है, तो ऐसे ट्रीट कर रहे हैं अपन।
तो वो लास्ट टाइम कब एडमिट हुए थे हॉस्पिटल में?
अंडर कस्टडी है, पेशेंट अंडर कस्टडी है, तो पुलिस ही लेके आया है पेशेंट, तो परसों। हाँ,
अभी उनका क्या सिचुएशन है? मतलब सिर्फ बीपी का प्रॉब्लम है, हाई बीपी है, और क्या और कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है उनको?
पेशेंट को बुलेट इंजरी हुआ था, उसके कारण उसका एक किडनी निकाल दिया था, तो उसके वजह से भी हाइपरटेंशन हो सकता है और वो कंट्रोल नहीं हो रहा है अभी तक।
तो आज क्या डिस्चार्ज करने वाले हैं उनको?
नहीं, पेशेंट अभी भी कस्टडी में है ना, तो उसके बारे में अभी कुछ अपडेट नहीं है और अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन है।
मतलब हेल्थ कंडीशन के हिसाब से आज डिस्चार्ज नहीं हो?
हेल्थ के कंडीशन से आज अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन है हमारे। हाँ,
और ऐसे नॉर्मल क्या स्टेबल सिचुएशन है, क्या बोल?
स्टेबल हायर साइड बीपी है, पल्पिटेशन है।
तो अभी सिर्फ उनका प्रॉब्लम हायर बीपी है और बाकी कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं?
और कुछ नहीं।
तो बीपी जब सेटल हो जाएगा तो वो डिस्चार्ज कर सकते हैं उनको, सिर्फ बीपी का ही प्रॉब्लम?
वो पुलिस कस्टडी में है ना, वो डिस्चार्ज नहीं होंगे, वो पुलिस के पास ही जाएंगे फिर।
हॉस्पिटल से डिस्चार्ज हो सकते हैं, सिर्फ बीपी का प्रॉब्लम
सेटल हो गया तो।
In fact, viewers, Republic's investigation has also revealed that Ramesh Mhatre is being kept at the hospital under police security. Now, video has shown now that how the police are protecting the accused corporator, Shiv Sena corporator Ramesh Mhatre. Let's take a look at that as well.
डॉक्टर इसमें तो आप लोगों का ड्यूटी अभी चालू है, मतलब आप लोगों का ड्यूटी खत्म होगा उसका मतलब उसको डिस्चार्ज करेंगे।
हमारा ड्यूटी अलग है,
क्या
उनके साथ नहीं है।
अच्छा,
मेरा ड्यूटी अलग है।
तो आपको यहाँ पे क्यों पोस्टिंग है? यहाँ पे क्यों पोस्टिंग है?
प्रिजनर वार्ड है ना
पूरा?
हाँ, ये सेपरेट नहीं है इधर, पूरा प्रिजनर वार्ड है।
तो असं आहे काय सगळ्या आरोग्य
म्हणजे प्रत्येक आरोपीला वेगळी सिक्युरिटी आहे।
त्यांचं सिक्युरिटी कोण आहे?
उनको कितने तक एडमिट किया
मुझे कुछ मालूम नहीं, मैं आज देखने आया, मेरा आरोपी अलग है, उसका और हमारा कुछ संबंध
तो उसे मिल नहीं सकते?
नहीं, अलाउड ही नहीं है, इसीलिए हम बैठे नहीं हैं, अंदर अलाउड ही नहीं है।
तो ये लोग तो जाते हैं,
ये स्टाफ है।
And now let us quickly shift our attention to some of the top stories in our national wraps. A fire broke out in a car at Coastal Road Tunnel. Fire attendants are present at the spot. The fire is being brought under control as of now, and there has been no loss of life yet. More details are awaited on this. Residents of Nangalbhanga village and nearby communities in Assam's Chirang district are grappling with a severe crisis as rising water levels in the Nangalbhanga river, fueled by heavy rainfall, have triggered extensive soil erosion. The erosion has displaced families and left many residents homeless. The 12th BRICS Labour and Employment Ministers meeting is currently underway in Hyderabad under India's BRICS Chairship 2026, with Union Minister for Labour and Employment Dr. Mansukh Mandavia chairing deliberations among labour ministers and senior officials from BRICS countries. Discussions are centred on 4 priority areas identified under India's chairship, the first being advancing social security and formalisation of labour markets, the second being enhancing women's participation and inclusion in the workforce, cooperation on employability, skills mapping and development, and the fourth one being leveraging digital technologies for all workers, including gig and platform workers as well. And now slipping into a very short break, but we'll be right back with you with more stories on the other side. Coming up after a short break, after Imran Khan, another Pakistan politician faces the wrath of Pakistan Army. FIR filed against politician who exposed Asim Munir's forces. Coming up next.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला।
ये वही हैं, ये प्रश्न उठाने वाले लोग वही हैं जो लोग आज श्री राम जन्मभूमि में चोरी के बारे में इतना हो हल्ला कर रहे हैं। याद करना, श्री राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर के बारे में प्रश्न उठा रहे हैं। घटना जो भी घटित हुई दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण थी और ट्रस्ट के द्वारा जो सिफारिश की गई उसके अनुसार, जो अनुरोध किया गया उसके अनुसार एक एसआईटी उसकी जांच कर रही है, उस पर कार्रवाई भी हो रही है, उसमें कोई वो नहीं। प्रश्न ये उठता है कि जिसमें एक जांच एजेंसी पहले से जांच करके कार्रवाई कर रही है और उसके अनुरूप ट्रस्ट ने कार्रवाई भी प्रारंभ की है, नैतिक आधार पर भी इस्तीफा दिए और उस पर प्रश्न उठाए जा रहे हैं और सीधे सीधे आस्था की खिलवाड़ की बात हो रही है। आस्था के साथ खिलवाड़ हो रहा, हिंदू धामों पर प्रहार हो रहे हैं। एक तरफ वह लोग हैं और आस्था की बात वे लोग कर रहे हैं, चोरी की बात वो कर रहे हैं जो इन गरीबों के हक पर डकैती डालते थे। अयोध्या की आस्था की बात वे लोग कर रहे हैं जो हनुमानगढ़ी में नमाज पढ़वाने का काम करते थे, हनुमानगढ़ी जैसे पवित्र स्थल पर। उन लोगों के द्वारा ये प्रश्न आज उठाए जा रहे हैं और इसीलिए आज के इस अवसर पर मैं रिपब्लिक भारत के सभी दर्शकों से अनुरोध करूंगा, हम उस मानसिकता को समझें जिनके लिए राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि नहीं है और जो लोग गाए बगाहे
Coming up after a very short break, thousands begin march from Rawalkot in Muzaffarabad as protests intensify in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Coming up next.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, delicious, healthy every day.
Ladies and gentlemen, we suspect that Pakistan is back to its old and dirty tricks again, and we have proof which has come with us that they are planning some terrorism in response to our firm decision to keep the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance. Now, we've kept the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance post Pahalgam because that is what they deserve. These are of Lashkar terrorists being trained with some hyperbolic jihadi music in the background. And they are being trained by the Lashkar-e-Toiba. This footage has come out. They are being trained by a US designated Lashkar terrorist called Haris Dar. And these are all Lashkar terrorists. They are being trained, and they are being trained in dams, in waters of dams in Pakistan. And he is addressing these water jihad recruits in front of a water body, and he says, "Agla step hamara dam mein aata hai, Mangla dam mein. Our issue over water is with India." And then he wants and says, something bigger is going to happen in 2026. That's the video of him on the right, where he says something big is going to happen over the water issue in 2026. Then he's parroting the line of the Pakistani government. Remember, the man on the right is not just any fanatic. He's a US designated, very well-known Lashkar-e-Taiba.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello viewers, a very good afternoon. We are live and we are breaking. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. A big controversy has erupted. It's a Republic super exclusive. You will see pictures soon after the headlines of how left leaders are meeting Cockroach Jantar Party founder, and immediately after that meeting officials at the Chinese embassy. So what is the link? Is a China link coming through? Well, we'll answer all those questions. We'll decode the story further, but the headlines first. Let's get started. Republic exposes China's link to the Cockroach Jantar Party protesters. Top left leaders seen meeting Abhijit Dipke and attending Chinese embassy event.
पूरा बलोच इलाका पाकिस्तान के इख्तियार से निकल चुका था। आज भी वहां पर पाकिस्तान हुकूमत की कोई रिट मौजूद नहीं है। अब तो पश्तून इलाका भी खून में नहा रहा है।
After Imran Khan, another Pakistan politician faces wrath of Pakistan Army. FIR filed against politician who exposed Asim Munir's forces. Protests against Pakistan intensify in POK, with movement leaders rejecting Pakistan's disputed territory narrative as people protest and march in defiance. Thousands begin march from Rawalakot in Muzaffarabad as protests intensify in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Day after Tamil Nadu government issues anti-bribery helpline, TVK leader caught red-handed accepting bribe. Hello viewers, let's take our viewers through these pictures you will see on your screen. Okay, so what you will see is a major controversy erupting over left leaders meeting the Cockroach Jantar Party and Chinese officials. China Cockroach Jantar Party controversy breaks out days before Parliament session. Top left leaders are seen with Dipke at Jantar Mantar and with Chinese envoy. Okay, so we'll put out those pictures and you will see that this is happening just before the Parliament session. Many questions are being raised about what are these pictures all about. Is there a China link to the Cockroach Jantar Party? What exactly is happening in these photos? Now, we have always highlighted about many questions specifically when it comes to Cockroach Jantar Party. For example, the sort of controversy over how did the Cockroach Jantar Party get so many followers? Are they organic or was an inorganic method used? But right now, let's take a look at these pictures you see on your screen. So on your screen, you will see that these are top CPI leaders who are at a Chinese embassy event. They are with an envoy there. And on your right hand of your screen, you will see that again, these leaders, left leaders, are with Dipke at a protest. So the question that we're asking is, what exactly is going on here? Why is the left meeting the cockroach of the party, and immediately that meeting Chinese officials at the embassy event. So many questions need to be answered about these pictures. Republic is here. We're trying to get all the reactions coming in. In fact, we spoke a short while back to the CPIM leaders who are not really giving a straight answer as to what exactly these pictures are saying. We put out some more pictures coming in. We put out some more details for our viewers so they have a better idea as to what exactly is happening. But those pictures are telling a specific story. In fact, we have with us right now, joining us, Advocate Vandana Sinha, National Spokesperson, Aam Aadmi Party. Okay, Advocate Vandana Sinha, thank you for joining us on Republic TV. I mean, I think you can see these pictures on your screen as well. And we will be coming to you as well. Let's put out some pictures first. I want the viewers to look at those pictures on our screen. So those are the pictures on your screen, viewers, which are showing multiple meetings which have been taking place, especially with the Indie leaders meeting the Chinese envoy on many occasions. So this is not a very different story that we're seeing playing out here. So the question is that what is this China link? We're trying to decode the China link. But if we have a guest, we can go to a guest right now as we show these pictures to our viewers. Let's go straight across to our guest, Advocate Vandana Sinha, National Spokesperson, Aam Aadmi Party, who's joining us here. Thank you for joining us here. And I think you can also see those pictures on your screen like our viewers can, where the couple of meetings which are taking place specifically with Chinese officials. What specifically talk about the left leaders meeting the Chinese officials, the left leaders, and also meeting the cockroach of the party founder. What story do you really get out of this?
I think, first of all, the first and foremost, the most serious thing is the health of Sonam Wangchuk. We should talk about. Secondly, we should talk about the death of the students who has lost their life because of this paper leak. Third, we should talk about the demand of the CJP. We should not talk about, this is just a blame what we are doing. We should just see what is the demand of CJP, what is the demand of Sonam Wangchuk. Whether the Sonam Wangchuk is asking something for himself, whether he is asking for any post for himself, whether he is asking for the security of his own child. He's demanding for the secured education for the children of this country. What about this paper leak, 93 paper leak in this country for 3 years? This is the seriousness of this country. This pictures is not serious. This is just a blame game. We should talk about the secured education of the children of this country. Who will talk about the 17 children who lost their life? Who is talking about the parents of these children? Why the government is shut? Why the government is not talking about this topic? Why I think the most serious thing is education, is the education minister like Dharmendra Pradhan, who is not taking the accountability of the death of these 17 children because of the paper leak. This is the most serious thing we should talk about. This is nothing. These pictures, these all are the blame game. We are not talking about why the government is shut their mouth, why they are mum about the Sonam Wangchuk, why they are not talking about the health of Sonam Wangchuk. These are the very serious issues. These pictures is not serious. Who will talk about
Vandana Sinha? I wanted to look at these pictures that again we'll put them out for our viewers. You know, where we saw that Rahul Gandhi had signed a rare pact with the Chinese Communist Party. This happened a few years ago, so those are the pictures coming in. The question we're asking is that a lot of the opposition leaders, indie bloc leaders, have shown a lot of admiration for the Chinese. In fact, Rahul Gandhi has in fact been a silent sympathizer for China even during sensitive geopolitical tensions. And now we see the left leaders. The question is, why are the left leaders walking on the same footsteps after meeting the cockroach Jantar Party?
The alliance leaders, I think the entire country should go and support Sonam Wangchuk, because this issue is really serious. We should demand for the secured education. It should not only be the leader of oppositions. It should be. I think this is the duty of entire country. This is the duty of me. This is the duty of you, who should ask about the life, the death of these children. Who should ask the accountability of this government? This is not about the leaders. This is about the entire country, and we should not talk about here. We should talk. We should go and we should demand the accountability of the government. And I think the talking about these pictures is totally worthless, in my opinion. The only worthy is to talk about the Sonam Wangchuk health as of now. The only thing we should demand about the secured education for the children. The only thing we should demand about the death of the 17 children who has given because of the paper leak. Who will take the accountability? This is the worth talking about on the issues. I don't think these pictures are totally any worth talking about. This is my opinion. Rest all the countries showing their interest. It is not about the other countries. This is the other leaders. This is not about the other people. This is, I think, each and every youth has already been connected to the cause. They already been connected to Sonam Wangchuk. Sonam Wangchuk is a prestigious person who always fought for the environment, who fought for the rights, who has taken the right and actually issues for this country. He's not asking for anything about himself. He's not asking anything for his own child. He's asking for the right education, for the secured education for the children of this country, where the career of crores of millions of the children connected to it. It's
right. Right. I wanted to hold on there. You know, speaking of Sonam Wangchuk, the centre has said that Sonam Wangchuk tried to provoke Gen Z. That is exactly what the centre had said in the Supreme Court, speaking about him. But I'll come back to you on that further. I want to play out some reactions. We're getting some reactions from the BJP as well. Let's play them out.
If what you're saying is true, then it's very, very serious. And the media, if it's got note of this kind of linkage between the protest that is happening in Delhi and it being linked to outside countries and foreign influence, then certainly those who are participating in this meeting have much to answer. If what you're saying is true, then it's very, very serious. And the media, if it's got note of this kind of linkage between the protest that is happening in Delhi and it being linked to outside countries and foreign influence, then certainly those who are participating in this meeting have much to answer.
All right. Okay, so we heard the BJP there. The BJP is asking the same question, Vandana Sinha, that what exactly is happening in terms of this meeting, because foreign influence has always been a very, very important point. Foreign funding, foreign influence. You know, the centre has been very strict about these things. That's the reason we're asking these questions as well. I want to come back to you, Advocate Vandana Sinha, National Spokesperson, Aam Aadmi Party. What do you want to tell the BJP about this? They are just raising one issue, that is there foreign influence seeping into our political parties, into our movements, and it's being perhaps repackaged as a Gen Z movement. Yes.
These children died. When the children died because of the paper leak, don't you feel that the parents should come out because of the death of the children? Don't you think that the 93 paper leaks in 2 years is a serious issue? Why? I don't know why we are taking these issues against and against Sonam Wangchuk for provoking the Gen Zs. How it is? Gen Zs itself is in road these days because they want the justice. And the BJP is what doing the BJP is doing that. They just wanted to wrap their they just wanted to wrap their own things, that they cannot run the government in right manner. Dharmendra Pradhan himself should resign, that he is not able to take the responsibility of the career. He's not taking the responsibility. I don't think that we should demand. I think the
right
is nowhere. Dharmendra Pradhan should take responsibility. He is not taking the accountability of the death of the 17 children. Who will come out? Why that our Prime Minister is not talking about it? यहाँ पे लोग बैठे हुए हैं, जनता परेशान है, वो विदेश में घूम रहे हैं, उनका 36 इंच का कागज का सीना कहाँ चला गया आज? क्यों आज बैठकर वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ अमेरिका की गुलामी कर रहे हैं और अमेरिका देगा इन पेरेंट्स को और इन बच्चों को, और आप कह रहे हो कि सोनम वांगचुक प्रोवोक कर रहे हैं जेंसी को? इन 17 बच्चों की मौत की जिम्मेदारी कौन लेगा? मैं और या आप या गवर्नमेंट? This matter is very serious. This is not talking about the foreign influencers. This is happening within India. Everybody is connected with the cause. Nobody is talking about this. I don't know why we are talking. Why BJP leaders are not coming out? ये हमें आज है बीजेपी के लीडर्स के बच्चों के साथ भी हो सकता है. उनको बाहर आना चाहिए, बात करनी चाहिए इस विषय में. This is आज प्रधानमंत्री जी दौरे पे चले जाते हो तो इंडिया जब आते हैं तो वो ऐसा लगता है इंडिया दौरे पे आ रहे हैं. कोई फर्क नहीं है उनको कि आज यहाँ पे जनता बैठी हुई से सोनम वांगचुक की हेल्थ डिटोरिएट हो रही है. बट नोबडी इज टेकिंग द अकाउंटेबिलिटी. दिस इज द मिसफॉर्चुनेट ऑफ दिस कंट्री. दिस इज टोटली मिसफॉर्चुनेट कि वी हैव अ गवर्नमेंट लाइक दिस who is not taking the accountability for the children's education. सिर्फ बातें बड़ी-बड़ी और जब डिलीवरेंस का टाइम आता है तो जीरो.
Vandana Sinha, we are asking a different question here. We're not asking about, of course, that the NEET paper leak is very important. But we're talking about these pictures. We're talking about how, the leaders from the Congress, now left leaders are at a Chinese embassy event, how, Rahul Gandhi has been sympathetic towards China, especially when we know that China has not been playing fair with India. This is what we're talking about. I know the other issues as well, but I want to take one more reaction coming in. Professor Jyotsna Tirunagari, national spokesperson, TDP, joining us live from Hyderabad. Thank you for joining us here, Professor. I want your first reaction as to these pictures that we are seeing. And the reason we are asking this question is that, and you can see the pictures, one picture is with Rahul Gandhi with the Chinese envoy. We know that Rahul Gandhi had signed a very rare pact with the CCP many, many years ago. He has always promoted China at the expense of India. The point is that he was, and now we see that left leaders are meeting a Chinese envoy at the same time after just meeting the Cockroach Jantar Party leaders. Your first reaction, when you see these pictures together, do you see a story coming out? Do you see something similar, perhaps, which has happened in the past?
And anything and everything related to do anything with the country, against the country, I would say. Against the country, I think Congress is in there, and that's what we have been seeing time and again. Now, if I just connect the dots somewhere, something somewhere is fishy, which is pretty much obvious. Because see, anti-government protests, and I wouldn't even call them anti-government, I would call them anti-India protests. Because everything they are doing in today's day is anti-India. These are the people who go out of the country, sit with the people who are working against India and talk against India. They call Indian economy dead economy. They call India as an unsafe country. These are the people who are talking bad about India. And a country which actually works against India, these people go and meet them. And then again, a party which has come up recently and a party which is conducting protests across the country is being helped by them is very obvious. Now, again, I don't want to come to any early assumptions or early presumptions, but my simple question to Congress is, where was Rahul Gandhi for so many days? Wasn't he missing? He was missing. छात्रों की गूंज कहाँ गई? ये क्या नया एक नाटक बना रखा इन लोगों ने? So definitely, I think somewhere something is fishy, which is having a connection between all the stakeholders who are working against India, whether inside the country or outside the country. This is something that is bothering us to a larger extent these days.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Professor. We're getting many reactions coming in on the story, and we will be moving ahead to some of the other stories tracking right now on Republic TV. Let's move ahead. Thank you, our guests, for joining us here. Now we're getting some breaking news. Massive fire in Noida village. Mamura, 50 families are said to be trapped, at least reportedly dead. As per the DCP Central Noida, a fire broke out on the first floor of a residential building, and an electric scooter that was plugged in for charging sparked, igniting the vehicle and subsequently spreading the fire to several other vehicles parked nearby. The resulting fumes rose to the upper floors of the building and entered the residents' apartment. Upon receiving the information, police teams, fire service Rescue teams and fire tenders arrived at the scene and initiated a rescue operation. More than 100 people were successfully rescued and brought in to safety. Pictures coming in on your screen. 2 individuals fell ill and were transported to the hospital by ambulance for treatment. An update on their health status is still currently awaited. A case has been registered against the building's leaseholder and operator under appropriate legal sections on charges of negligence, and they have been taken into custody. Further legal proceedings regarding this matter are underway. So fire erupts in Noida, first on Republic TV, and we're getting some reactions coming in.
उसके बाद ही गेट खोला तो पता चला कि आगे से धुआं निकल रहा है। एक्चुअली नीचे वेंटिलेशन के लिए बना रखा है, तो धुआं दिखा हमको, तो वहाँ से भागने के लिए भागे। मैं ऊपर से आया था, ऊपर जो वो पट्टा लगा हुआ है, सामने वाले वर्कर्स ने काफ़ी हेल्प करा, तो हमको वहाँ से निकालने में हेल्प करा, उनकी वजह से बच गए, क्योंकि नीचे बिल्कुल सांस नहीं आ रही थी, ऊपर ही जाना पड़ा।
कितने लोग थे आपके साथ, मतलब उस फ्लोर पे कितने लोग थे जिनको शिफ्ट किया गया दूसरी बिल्डिंग में?
देखो हमारे फ्लोर पे तो कम ही थे, 10 के अराउंड होंगे, बट हाँ ऊपर जो थे वो कम से कम थे 40 अराउंड।
जो भी सेकंड फ्लोर पे थे?
हाँ जी, हम सेम रूम में रहते, सेकंड फ्लोर।
मैं ये देख पा रहा हूँ ऊपर टीन शेड भी डला हुआ है, तो वो ऊपर क्या है?
ट्रिपल्स, ये जितना आपको दिख रहा है इसका थोड़ा 2-3 और थे इसके ऊपर। उन्होंने वर्कर्स ने प्रॉपर लगा के, रस्सी लगा के हेल्प करा। ऐसा नहीं था कि वो गिर जाएगा, प्रॉपर अच्छे से बना के उन्होंने तुरंत ही बहुत जल्दी बना दिया था।
अभी भी सामान अंदर है आपका?
हाँ जी, सामान अंदर।
अभी तो पुलिस जाने नहीं दे रही है किसी को?
बिल्कुल नहीं जाने दे रही है। अब कुछ
आप भी अंदर ही थे उस समय?
नहीं, मैं ऑफिस गया हुआ था, मैं भी इन्हीं के साथ था, लेकिन मुझे बाद में पता चला तो मैं।
अच्छा, तो कभी डर लगता है, क्योंकि मैं देख रहा हूँ बहुत कंजस्टेड गली है, फायर की गाड़ियाँ भी अंदर नहीं पहुँच पाई?
एक्चुअली डर तो मुझे यहाँ पे अर्थक्वेक का ज़्यादा लगता था हमेशा से, बाकी तो ऐसा कोई डर नहीं लगता था, नॉर्मली था। बहुत ही सरप्राइजिंग था जब मुझे पता चला कि यहाँ पर सडनली आग लगी, तो मैं बस जल्दी से यहाँ पर पहुँचा था, क्योंकि ये मेरा कज़न है और ये भी मेरा बेस्ट फ्रेंड है, हम तीनों साथ में ही रहते हैं, तो इसी वजह से बस मैं देखने आया था कि सब कुछ चेक करने एक बार ठीक है कि नहीं।
देखिए 12,000 रुपए किराया है एक कमरे का, और सेफ्टी के नाम पर आपने देखा कि कैसे एक बिल्डिंग से दूसरी बिल्डिंग में लोगों को जो है वो शिफ्ट किया गया, रेस्क्यू जो है वो साफ तौर पर किया गया। हालांकि प्रशासन अब कार्रवाई की बात कर रहा है, लेकिन उस समय जितने भी लोग यहाँ पर थे वो बता रहे हैं कि मंजर क्या था, तस्वीरें क्या थी, कैसे जो धुआं है वो निकल रहा था, और लोगों को एक बिल्डिंग से दूसरी बिल्डिंग में जो शिफ्ट है वो सीढ़ी डाल के किया गया। और अब लापरवाही को लेकर तमाम बातें हो रही हैं, पुलिस कार्रवाई की बात कर रही है, लेकिन वही सवाल कि जब आग लगती है तभी प्रशासन क्यों जागता है, उसको लेकर भी अब लोगों के बीच में चर्चाएं और सेफ्टी को लेकर तमाम बातें जो है वो की जा रही हैं। जी।
Okay, getting pictures coming in from Noida. This very unfortunate incident which has happened. Massive fire in Noida village. 50 families said to be trapped. Rescue relief operations are continuing. These are pictures coming in. As per DCP Central Noida, fire broke out on the first floor of a residential building. An electric scooter that was plugged in for charging sparked, igniting the vehicle and subsequently spreading the fire to several other vehicles parked nearby. The resulting fumes rose to the upper floors of the building and entered the residents' apartments. Upon receiving the information, police teams, fire service rescue teams, and fire tenders arrived at the scene and initiated a rescue operation. Take a short break, viewers. Do not go anywhere. Day after Tamil Nadu government issues anti-bribery helpline, TVK leader caught red-handed accepting a bribe. Stay tuned.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
ये वही हैं, ये प्रश्न उठाने वाले लोग वही हैं जो लोग आज श्री राम जन्मभूमि में चोरी के बारे में इतना हो हल्ला कर रहे हैं। याद करना, से राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर के बारे में प्रश्न उठा रहे हैं। घटना जो भी घटित हुई दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण थी और ट्रस्ट के द्वारा जो सिफारिश की गई उसके अनुसार, जो अनुरोध किया गया उसके अनुसार एक एसआईटी उसकी जांच कर रही है, उस पर कार्रवाई भी हो रही है, उसमें कोई वो नहीं। प्रश्न ये उठता है कि जिसमें एक जांच एजेंसी पहले से जांच करके कार्रवाई कर रही है और उसके अनुरूप ट्रस्ट ने कार्रवाई भी प्रारंभ की है, नैतिक आधार पर भी इस्तीफा दिए और उस पर प्रश्न उठाए जा रहे हैं और सीधे सीधे आस्था की खिलवाड़ की बात हो रही है। आस्था के साथ खिलवाड़ हो रहा, हिंदू धामों पर प्रहार हो रहे हैं। एक तरफ वह लोग हैं और आस्था की बात वे लोग कर रहे हैं, चोरी की बात वो कर रहे हैं जो इन गरीबों के हक पर डकैती डालते थे।
Tensions escalate in West Asia. India has sent its strongest message yet. New Delhi has condemned the attack on commercial vessels, demanding safer and uninterrupted navigation through the Strait of Hormuz.
Calling for the immediate restoration of safe and uninterrupted maritime navigation. MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal confirmed that India summoned Iran's deputy chief of mission while also emphasizing the security of international shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
We strongly condemned what has happened. We lost a precious Indian life, and there are several Indian nationals who have been injured, and a couple of them are also seriously injured. So we conveyed our strongest protest with the Iranian side on this particular matter, that these attacks, which we condemn, and take the path of dialogue and diplomacy so that peace and stability can be ensured in West Asia.
New Delhi has now fully stressed that dialogue and diplomacy remain the only sustainable path to restoring peace, stability, and security in West Asia.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े,
चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा।
Ladies and gentlemen, we suspect that Pakistan is back to its old and dirty tricks again, and we have proof which has come with us that they are planning some terrorism in response to our firm decision to keep the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance. Now, we've kept the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance post-Pahalgam because that is what they deserve. These are of Lashkar terrorists being trained with some hyperbolic jihadi music in the background, and they are being trained by the Lashkar-e-Toiba. This footage has come out. They are being trained by a US-designated Lashkar terrorist called Haris Dar. And these are all Lashkar terrorists. They are being trained, and they are being trained in dams, in waters of dams in Pakistan, and he is addressing these water jihad recruits in front of a water body, and he says, "Agla step hamara dam mein aata hai, Mangla Dam mein. Our issue over water is with India." And then he wants and says, something bigger is going to happen in 2026. That's the video of him on the right, where he says something big is going to happen over the water issue in 2026. Then he's parroting the line of the Pakistani government. Remember, the man on the right is not just any fanatic. He's a US designated, very well-known Lashkar-e-Toiba commander, training what is being called as...
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Our प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
ये वही हैं, ये प्रश्न उठाने वाले लोग वही हैं जो लोग आज श्री राम जन्मभूमि में चोरी के बारे में इतना हो हल्ला कर रहे हैं। याद करना, श्री राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर के बारे में प्रश्न उठा रहे हैं। घटना जो भी घटित हुई दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण थी और ट्रस्ट के द्वारा जो सिफारिश की गई उसके अनुसार, जो अनुरोध किया गया उसके अनुसार एक SIT उसकी जांच कर रही है, उस पर कार्रवाई भी हो रही है, उसमें कोई वो नहीं। प्रश्न ये उठता है कि जिसमें एक जांच एजेंसी पहले से जांच करके कार्रवाई कर रही है और उसके अनुरूप ट्रस्ट ने कार्रवाई भी प्रारंभ की है, नैतिक आधार पर भी इस्तीफा दिए और उस पर प्रश्न उठाए जा रहे हैं और सीधे सीधे आस्था की खिलवाड़ की बात हो रही है। आस्था के साथ खिलवाड़ हो रहा, हिंदू धामों पर प्रहार हो रहे हैं। एक तरफ वह लोग हैं और आस्था की बात वे लोग कर रहे हैं, चोरी की बात वो कर रहे हैं जो इन गरीबों के हक पर डकैती डालते थे। अयोध्या की आस्था की बात।
Viewers, big controversy has erupted now, in a major controversy erupted in the Patna High Court's no attempt to rape ruling, and now Supreme Court has even flagged the High Court, the Patna High Court's verdict on the no attempt to rape ruling. Supreme Court flagged the no attempt to rape ruling of the Patna High Court, and now after Allahabad High Court row, another controversial on the sexual offence verdict. Supreme Court has questioned the judicial sensitivity in sexual offence cases such as this, and a lack of research has been remarked by the Supreme Court in a sharp rap for the Patna High Court's verdict, and even questioned when will courts stop minimizing sexual offence, and also question has the message from the Supreme Court not reached the High Court. This is a major controversy now that's been erupting, and Supreme Court has flagged Patna High Court's verdict on the no attempt to rape verdict ruling on this, and has questions that will the court stop minimizing sexual violence. And also from Allahabad to Patna, why are similar judgments still being passed? And the Supreme Court has also warned against such insensitive approach to sexual crimes. In fact, we also have a reaction from senior advocate of Supreme Court, Nalin Kohli, who has reacted to the Patna High Court's ruling, expressing significant concerns. He said that the Supreme Court has now disseminated a comprehensive set of guidelines to all high courts. Now, the validity of this judgment itself has been called into question, and the Chief Justice of India has formally acknowledged this ruling as well. Let's take a listen to his statement.
It's very unfortunate because after the judgment of the Allahabad High Court, the Honorable Supreme Court had clearly come out with a set of directives and clearly said that these should be adhered to. The very fact that this is being repeated in another High Court of the country means somewhere or the other this important ruling of the Honorable Supreme Court had not been taken note of. And it has taken the Supreme Court to send out that message very clearly, unequivocally today, that all these guidelines which have been prepared must be circulated to the high courts, to all concerned, because after all you can't have a situation where high courts will pass orders or judgments that are in clear contradiction or not adhering to what the Supreme Court has laid down as specific guidelines.
So, but how can the public confidence in the justice system be maintained if similar judgments keep coming on?
Well, first of all, the judgment itself, for obvious reasons, has come under cloud and under question. The Supreme Court, no less than the Supreme Court itself, has stepped in And it is the bench of the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice Suryakant. So that is, it's been taken note of at the highest level. Additionally, the very fact that a corrective message has been sent out means that the justice delivery system is concerned about these kind of things and is keeping abreast with it and reacting to it in the positive sense or responding to it in the positive sense as required. Additionally and finally, most important, ultimately judges are human beings. So some of them will make mistakes, and that is why you have a graded system of appeals right up to the Supreme Court. So I think we should not look at it as a comment on the entirety of the judiciary and those who are doing a great job. Now, whatever is to be corrected will get corrected, and in this stage, in this particular case, it has been.
Sir, so can such judicial observation discourage survivors from reporting sexual crimes?
That is something which I think you're asking a very, very good question in that sense. It's pertinent that even how to cover an incident that involves an allegation of rape or a child, these are sensitive issues. Thankfully, many of the leading channels like your channel are aware of it and they follow it. But at the wider scale, when you have the proliferation of media and people at all levels from local right up to national, new channels keep coming, new channels on other mediums, social media keep coming. So I think everyone needs to take note, and widespread dissemination of this among the media is also important.
Now, Rashid Alvi has also reacted on the Patna High Court ruling on the attempt to remove salwar pressing chest is not an attempt to rape. He also questioned, if this is not an attempt of rape, then I don't know what is an attempt of rape. Let's take a listen to his statement as well.
मुझे बताया गया कि पटना हाई कोर्ट का डिसीजन आया है कि अगर किसी महिला की शलवार उतार दी जाए तो इसका ये मतलब हरगिज नहीं कि उसके साथ रेप करने का इरादा है। मेरी समझ से बाहर है। फिर रेप करने का इरादा किस तरीके से जाहिर होगा? अगर किसी महिला के साथ जबरदस्ती शलवार उतारी जा रही है तो इससे ज्यादा उस आदमी की गलत इंटेंशन का और क्या सबूत होगा? हाई कोर्ट अगर इस तरीके की कोई फाइंडिंग्स देता है तो मुझे ताज्जुब भी होता है और अफसोस भी होता है, और यही कारण है कि आज जनता भी जुडिशरी पे सवाल उठाने लगी है। मुझे बताया गया कि पटना हाई कोर्ट का डिसीजन आया है कि अगर किसी महिला की शलवार उतार दी जाए तो इसका ये मतलब हरगिज नहीं कि उसके साथ रेप करने का इरादा है। मेरी समझ से बाहर है। फिर रेप करने का इरादा किस तरीके से जाहिर होगा? अगर किसी महिला के साथ जबरदस्ती शलवार उतारी जा रही है तो इससे ज्यादा उस आदमी की गलत इंटेंशन का और क्या सबूत होगा? हाई कोर्ट अगर इस तरीके की कोई फाइंडिंग्स देता है तो मुझे ताज्जुब भी होता है और अफसोस भी होता है, और यही कारण है कि आज जनता भी जुडिशरी पे सवाल उठाने लगी है।
And now shifting focus to a major story coming in from Tamil Nadu. A day after the Tamil Nadu government has launched a WhatsApp number to complain to the Chief Minister's cell directly over the bribery in government offices, a video has now circulated on social media where a TVK functionary from the Chengalpattu Mambalam area asked for a bribe of about 1 lakh rupees and 1,30,000 rupees. Now, allegations that he had asked for the town panchayat to release the amount for completing a road work in this area. Now, a video of the TVK panchayat president negotiating with the contractor and evidence of receiving money through the UPI has also been released. This coming after a WhatsApp number has been launched to expose bribes and bribery-related cases to the Chief Minister directly. A TVK functionary has now been seen caught red-handed in a bribery scandal where he was even asking for a bribe of about 1,30,000 rupees from a local panchayat to complete the work, road work process in this area. Now, even Republic, in fact, spoke exclusively to the BJP's Narayan Tirupati as well and has reacted to this matter. Let's take a listen into that. Well, this is the latest that we are tracking on Tamil Nadu. A major bribery scandal has erupted now in Tamil Nadu just one day after a WhatsApp number has been launched by the Chief Minister to expose bribery-related cases. And now a TVK functionary is caught red-handed, in fact, receiving bribe, asking for a bribe of about 1,30,000 rupees from a contractor. This regards to a road work construction in the Chengalpattu Mambakam area as well. And this after TVK Panchayat president is seen negotiating red-handed just after a day of WhatsApp number being launched to connect to the Chief Minister directly, exposing such bribery cases. This is a major, in fact, a scandal that's erupting in Tamil Nadu as well, a big bribery scandal. And now, viewers, we shift focus to some of the top headlines in the national headlines in our national wraps. A fire broke out in a car at Coastal Road Tunnel. Fire tenders are present at the spot. The fire is being brought under control. There has been no loss of life yet, and more details are awaited on this. Residents of Nangalbanga village and nearby communities in Assam's Chirang district are grappling with a severe crisis as rising water levels in the Nangalbanga river, fueled by heavy rainfall, have triggered extensive soil erosion. The erosion has displaced families and left many residents homeless. The 12th BRICS Labour and Employment Ministers meeting is currently underway in Hyderabad under India's BRICS Chairship 2026, with Union Minister for Labour and Employment Dr. Mansukh Mandavia chairing deliberations among labour ministers and senior officials from BRICS countries. Discussions are centred on 4 priority areas identified under India's chairship: advancing social security and formalisation of labour markets, enhancing women's participation and inclusion in the workforce, cooperation on employability, skills mapping and development, and leveraging digital technologies for all workers, including gig and platform workers. And viewers, we have a breaking news from the market at this moment. Now, Nifty Sensex has ended higher today. Nifty has been up by 0.11%. Sensex also gains about 0.17%, and the Arthur Energy stock has zoomed 9% to 52-week high. Also, IT stocks have slipped up by 1% as IBM's weak earnings dented sentiment. Also, Patanjali shares have crashed up to 17.1% in the third day of sell-off. Now, in Asian markets, they have diverged. Asian markets continue to diverge as Nikkei, Hang Seng rally while Shanghai continues to slip. This is some of the major roundup of the market as the day ends. I'm also joined by my colleague from the digital newsroom, Rishita, who has more details in this. Rishita, thank you so much for joining to give us more details in the market updates today. Then we can see that Nifty and Sensex still doing relatively positive, ending positively also today, and several stocks have also gained, including IT stocks as well. We would like to know more on that and the reasons behind that. Tell us more on that.
Yes, absolutely. So the Indian stock market indices, despite the hostilities and despite the tumultuous nature of global affairs, have ended in green today, as Nifty 50 stood at a level of 24,078.5, up by 0.11% or 26 points, while Sensex stood at 77,185.43, up by 130.49 points or 0.11%. Now, this has happened in terms of the performance of the broader sector indices. The oil and gas, PSU banks were some of the highest performing sectors for today. In terms of stocks, if we talk about Ather Energy stocked around 9.2% in intraday trading today. Additionally, even the IT stocks were trading up to 1%. Patanjali stocks, on the other hand, they fell as much as 17.1% in today's session. Now, overall, if we talk about the Asian markets, the performance has been sort of mixed. Nikkei was up by 1.49%, HSI was up by 1.40%, while Shanghai was down by 0.29%. Back to you.
And that's right. And could you also tell some... Right, thank you so much for all of those updates, Rishita. And these are the market updates that we have rounded up as market closes at this hour. Now, viewers, we shift to focus as tensions continue to escalate in West Asia. India has sent its strongest message yet. Now, New Delhi has condemned the attack on commercial vessels and demanded safe and uninterrupted navigation through the Strait of Hormuz and urged Iran and its adversaries to immediately de-escalate. India has also lodged a strong protest with Tehran after an Indian national was killed and several others were injured in the attack. Here's a full report. Take a look.
India has unequivocally condemned the attacks on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, calling for the immediate restoration of safe and uninterrupted maritime navigation. MEA spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal confirmed that India summoned Iran's deputy chief of mission while also emphasizing the security of international shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
We strongly condemned what has happened. We lost a precious Indian life, and there are several Indian nationals who have been injured, and a couple of them are also seriously injured. So we conveyed our strongest protest with the Iranian side on this particular matter, that these attacks, which we condemn, and take the path of dialogue and diplomacy so that peace and stability can be ensured in West Asia.
New Delhi has now fully stressed that dialogue and diplomacy remain the only sustainable path to restoring peace, stability and security in West Asia.
A big breaking news coming in at the moment. Viewers, a massive fire in Noida village, Mamura. 50 families is said to be trapped inside the residential building and at least 2 reportedly dead as per the DCP Central Noida. A fire broke out on the first floor of a residential building. An electric scooter that was plugged in for charging sparked and ignited the vehicle, and subsequently it spread the fire to several other parts of the area and to other vehicles that was parked nearby. The resulting fumes, in fact, rose to the upper floors of the building and entered the residents' apartments as well. Upon receiving the information, police teams, fire service and rescue teams and fire tenders all arrived at the scene and initiated a rescue operation. Well, more than 100 people were successfully rescued and brought to safety. Now, 2 individuals fell ill and were transported to the hospital by ambulance for further treatment, and an update on their health status is currently awaited. A case has also been registered against the building's leaseholder and operator under appropriate legal sections of charges of negligence, and they have been taken into custody. And further legal proceedings also regarding this matter are underway. Massive fire where 2 people have reportedly been killed, while several others have been successfully evacuated and rescued. Now, viewers, this fire was sparked by a charging station of an electric scooter that was plugged in, and that sparked fire and caught the vehicle, in fact, caught fire, and that spread out to all the surrounding areas and engulfed the first floors of the residential building, where a massive fire engulfed this area, in the Mamura village of Noida. Several people have also been rescued, and upon information, police and fire tenders rushed to the spot and they began rescue operations, and 100 people have been successfully evacuated and rescued in this. However, 2 people have been unfortunately were unable to be rescued and was reported to be killed in the fire. The fire, in fact, it was originated from a charging station of an electric scooter where it was plugged in, and the vehicle caught fire because of the charging station being plugged in, and it spread across to several other vehicles in the area, and that was how the fire rapidly spread across the first floor of the building, and the massive fire is being continued to be rescue operations and being evacuated. And these are the images and visuals of the fire that struck. We can see this is a parking area where we can see bikes are still that caught fire due to the blaze that struck from the electric vehicle charging station. And we can see people trying to evacuate also from the vehicle. We can see they're trying to walk past a ropeway or a small bridge that have been built or may have been makeshift with various bamboo sticks that have been laid across two buildings in order to make a safe passage for the victims, for the people who have been trapped in the building in the fire. And we can see that several fire tenders have also been beginning rescuing operations in the area. This is in fact as a charging vehicle led to this fire in the Mamura area of Noida. Now shifting focus to another major story, the West Asia conflict has entered another dangerous phase. The United States has launched a fresh round of strikes on Iran, saying that the attacks are aimed at degrading Tehran's strike capabilities, even as reports emerge of fierce clashes in the Strait of Hormuz. Now Iran, meanwhile, claims it has struck military targets in Bahrain and Kuwait, raising fears of an even wider regional escalation. Let us take a look at the full report with the latest developments.
The United States has launched a fresh wave of strikes on Iranian targets, with Washington saying the attacks are intended to weaken Iran's ability to carry out further missile and drone strikes. The strikes come just ahead of an unexpected naval blockade around Iran, further raising tensions in the Gulf. Iran has responded by announcing the third phase of Operation Nasser II. IRGC claims its drones targeted enemy warehouses at Sheikh Issa Air Base in Bahrain and the MQ-9 drone ramp at Ali Al Salam Air Base in Kuwait. With fresh US strikes expanding Iranian retaliation and active fighting, fears of a wider regional conflict continue to grow, with global shipping routes and oil supplies now under increasing threat.
And our viewers, we move on to a major developing story from Maharashtra. Sena corporate who is out on bail after giving a 50,000 cash bond. And now the latest reports is that Sena leader Ramesh Mhatre, has he gotten away on a VVIP card? Is this a major question that Republic is in fact tracking? Because he was awarded the bail, a 50,000 cash bond that he gave, and now he is under the scrutiny. He says that he mentions high blood pressure because of the reason behind the bond, and he is out after assaulting major healthcare workers, even assaulting and verbally abusing and physically taunting them, the healthcare workers. And this happened in Dombivli in the hospital, and now he is out on bail. The question is he being clean sheet? Is he given a free pass? Is he being given a VVIP treatment? Also, there are visuals that Republic has access that he is being guarded by security officials in the hospital as well. This raises question why the corporator is not arrested. Now, Republic, in fact, spoke to the doctor about this as well, and let's take a listen to that, the statement of the Rahul Lahikar, the doctor, on Ramesh Mhatre. Take a listen.
डॉक्टर, अभी रमेश मात्रे का हेल्थ कंडीशन कैसा है?
अभी भी बीपी हायर साइड में है, तो ऐसे ट्रीट कर रहे हैं अपन।
तो वो लास्ट टाइम कब एडमिट हुए थे हॉस्पिटल में?
अंडर कस्टडी है, पेशेंट अंडर कस्टडी है, तो पुलिस ही लेके आया है पेशेंट, तो परसों है। हाँ,
अभी उनका क्या सिचुएशन है? मतलब सिर्फ बीपी का प्रॉब्लम है, हाई बीपी है, और क्या और कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है उनको?
पेशेंट को बुलेट इंजरी हुआ था, उसके कारण उसका एक किडनी निकाल दिया था, तो उसके वजह से भी हाइपरटेंशन हो सकता है और वो कंट्रोल नहीं हो रहा है अभी तक।
तो आज क्या डिस्चार्ज करने वाले हैं उनको?
नहीं, पेशेंट अभी भी कस्टडी में है ना, तो उसके बारे में अभी कुछ अपडेट नहीं है और अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन है।
मतलब हेल्थ कंडीशन के हिसाब से आज डिस्चार्ज नहीं हुआ?
हेल्थ के कंडीशन से आज अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन है हमारे। हाँ,
और ऐसे नॉर्मल क्या स्टेबल सिचुएशन है, क्या बोल?
स्टेबल हायर साइड बीपी है, पल्पिटेशन है।
तो अभी सिर्फ उनका प्रॉब्लम हायर बीपी है। बाकी कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं?
और कुछ नहीं।
तो बीपी जब सेटल हो जाएगा तो वो डिस्चार्ज कर सकते हैं उनको, सिर्फ बीपी का ही प्रॉब्लम?
वो पुलिस कस्टडी में है ना, वो डिस्चार्ज नहीं होंगे, वो पुलिस के पास ही जाएंगे फिर।
हॉस्पिटल से डिस्चार्ज हो सकते हैं, सिर्फ बीपी का प्रॉब्लम
सेटल हो गया तो।
Now, viewers, we shift our attention to the region in West Asia. Fresh strikes have been reported. Now, Iranian media releases footage of the moment of firing in Khyber Sheikhan, Zulfikar and Fateh. And these are the Fateh 110 missiles in waves 3 to 7 of Operation Nasser 2. This as fresh strikes have emerged and visuals have been released by Iranian media of firing Khyber Sheikhan, Zulfikar and Fateh 110 missiles in the third wave of the latest retaliation against the US strikes and 3 to 7 of Operation Nasser 2. The latest in fresh strikes erupts, and Iranian media has in fact released once again footage of them releasing missiles in several areas of the region. Now that was a visual of the release of the missile that was released by Iranian media of the missiles of Khyber Sheikhan, the Zulfikar missile and Fateh 110 missiles, and this is in the third wave of Operation Nasser 2 that Iranian media has released, and you can see the Iranian IRGC officials and members writing several lines on the missile before it was released, and this has been one of the routine that Iran has been making before they release such missiles, and this is again another poster that was pasted on the missile and writing some words and warning US President Donald Trump as well just before releasing the missiles in the third wave of strikes. So we can see that the Iranian media releasing the footage of the moment of firing of Khyber Sheikhan, Zulfikar and Fateh 110 missiles. And now, viewers, we're taking a very short break, but we'll be right back with you as we continue to track more stories on the other side. Coming up after a very short break, Republic exposes China's link to CJP protesters. Top left leaders seen meeting Abhijit Dipke and attending Chinese embassy event. Coming up next.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ, स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Ladies and gentlemen, we suspect that Pakistan is back to its old and dirty tricks again, and we have proof which has come with us that they are planning some terrorism in response to our firm decision to keep the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance. Now, we've kept the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance post Pahalgam because that is what they deserve. These are of Lashkar terrorists being trained with some hyperbolic jihadi music in the background, and they are being trained by the Lashkar-e-Toiba. This footage has come out. They are being trained by a US designated Lashkar terrorist called Haris Dar. And these are all Lashkar terrorists. They are being trained, and they are being trained in dams, in waters of dams in Pakistan. And he is addressing these water jihad recruits in front of a water body, and he says, "Agla step hamara dam mein aata hai, Mangla Dam mein. Our issue over water is with India." And then he wants and says, something bigger is going to happen in 2026. That's the video of him on the right, where he says something big is going to happen over the water issue in 2026. Then he's parroting the line of the Pakistani government. Remember, the man on the right is not just any fanatic. He's a US designated, very well-known Lashkar-e-Toiba commander.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
The top headlines: Republic exposes China's link to CJP protesters. Top left leaders seen meeting Abhijit Dipke and attending Chinese embassy event. Top CPIM leader meets MA Baby, meets CJP founder Dipke, China envoy, days before parliament session.
पूरा बलोच इलाका पाकिस्तान के इख्तियार से निकल चुका था। आज भी वहां पर पाकिस्तान हुकूमत की कोई रिट मौजूद नहीं है। अब तो पश्तून इलाका भी खून में नहा रहा है।
After Imran Khan, another Pakistan politician faces wrath of Pakistan Army. FIR filed against politician who exposed Asim Munir's forces. Shiv Sena leader Matre released on bail due to high blood pressure. Matre assaults doctors, now makes a mockery of law. Day after Tamil Nadu government issues anti-bribery helpline number, TVK leader caught red-handed accepting bribe. Supreme Court pulls up Patna High Court over order that groping women's breast is not an attempt to rape, asks court to exercise judicial restraint.
Good evening. Welcome to Republic. I am Ridhima. Top focus story. Republic again exposes viewers Dipke CJP, and yet again we bring you a big exclusive and expose of the cockroach Janata Party. Left leaders, if you can see on the screen, have been seen at CJP's Dipke at Jantar Mantar. Top left leaders are also seen with Dipke at Delhi's Jantar Mantar. But what's shocking is they are seen along with the Chinese envoy. On your screen, there are two pictures. One of the Chinese envoy at the embassy event, and second, the CJP protest. And the big question that arises here, is there a bigger Chinese link to these protests? Is the Gen Z being purposefully instigated as part of a larger conspiracy? Let me go across to Ratan Sharda, author who's now joining us. Ratan Sharda, we've been seeing and speaking about such events. Now it's the CJP's Dipke at Jantar Mantar, but what's shocking is the presence of the Chinese there. Not the first time, but of course we've seen earlier, we've questioned the links that the Congress party had with the Chinese, and now it's CJP's Dipke. It's clear there is a larger role they are fulfilling and possibly getting funding from.
Well, first of all, I'm more surprised before I get to the main theme that CPI, which is supposed to be a lackey of Russian Communist Party, and CPM is supposed to be a lackey of Chinese Communist Party. Today, even CPI seems to have been beholden to Chinese Communist Party. And this regular, inputs first by the Congress as a signatory of MOU, and now the Communist Party sitting with them at the time when things are, they should not be there, but they are there. Within days, they turn up at CJP. And you see CJP protest, which which the very day it started, the way it was multiplied, we were sure there is somebody behind it, because it cost a lot of money to change, to change one particular tweet into a massive Twitter storm. So when this was done, naturally there are people behind it, was very clear. And now as you see the people, the usual suspects who visit this place, right from AAP leaders to indirectly Congress people supporting and a Communist Party coming out openly, it shows that desperate opposition will use any occasion, any person, any prop to create disaffection. The language being used by these people who claim to be leading, 20th ko dekh lenge and you will be responsible. And the way they have been misusing and exploiting Sonam Wangchuk shows there is very deep conspiracy. If you see, this is a common occurrence. A small incident is picked up, it is multiplied, it is used to create disaffection. Any issue will do, whether it is now it is this. Earlier, the same team had used CA to create havoc. We have seen Delhi riot results coming slowly out in the judiciary, and how every kind of excuse is given by these anarchic people to exploit it. It was done. Arvind Kejriwal has come in the open. AAP has come into open. Various leftist and usual suspects of JNU etc. come there. Jihadis are come there. Naam rahega Allah ka, saying all that. And to add communists who are anyway minimal people to talk about, but at least they have some strong links with intellectual circle, and they can still create problems. And for Chinese to entertain them itself shows that Chinese will try any hook to put some hand in this dirty business.
I completely agree with you. But the larger question and what you've raised, Ratan Sharda, is very clear. We've seen this link during the Delhi riots. We've also seen a link, like you mentioned earlier. We've seen the Rahul Gandhi Chinese pact that we've several times questioned on. Today we are seeing the CJP. And you also mentioned Sonam Wangchuk. In the Supreme Court, when this case has been coming, questions have been raised about the ulterior motives here. Yet again, even as PILs are being filed, we are clearly seeing a larger hand at play. We earlier questioned whether it was a foreign hand, Ratan Sharda. It's evident now, even when the CJP is protesting, there seems to be some motivated, malicious motives that they have.
See, the CJP people are simply puppets. You look at the language. You look at the way they talk. They look at total shallowness of their arguments. Naturally, they are puppets. And they are puppets of these forces who are showing on the screen. Like CPI who have lost all relevance, they are trying to find relevance. They are hanging on to Chinese Communist Party, as I pointed out earlier. Though they were beholden to Russian party at one time. And all the anarchic groups which are there, they are the same groups which are there during CA protests. They are the same groups who came together to defend the criminals of Delhi riots. They are the same people who supported the JNU, divisive slogans and defending Sharjil Imam and those kind of people. So it's a closed network, incestuous network which supports each other, picks up anything. Rahul Gandhi said, kerosene ready hai, matches ki zarurat hai. So had he gone to buy more kerosene or more matches, we have to look at that.
I completely agree what's happening. I thank you, Ratan Sharda, for giving us that very esteemed perspective. Now, viewers, the other top focus: arrested for assaulting doctors on camera. Shiv Sena corporator yesterday got bail. He got bail as the breaking news comes in on grounds of blood pressure. Ramesh Matre got away so easily. The big question we ask is, can a VVIP card get you out of any crime in this country?
डॉक्टर, अभी रमेश मात्रे का हेल्थ कंडीशन कैसा है?
अभी भी बीपी हायर साइड में है, तो ऐसे ट्रीट कर रहे हैं अपन।
वो लास्ट टाइम कब एडमिट हुए थे हॉस्पिटल में?
अंडर कस्टडी है, पेशेंट अंडर कस्टडी है, तो पुलिस ही लेके आया है पेशेंट, तो परसों। हाँ,
अभी उनका क्या सिचुएशन है? मतलब सिर्फ बीपी का प्रॉब्लम है, हाई बीपी है, और क्या और कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है उनको?
पेशेंट को बुलेट इंजरी हुआ था, उसके कारण उसका एक किडनी निकाल दिया था, तो उसके वजह से भी हाइपरटेंशन हो सकता है और वो कंट्रोल नहीं हो रहा है अभी तक।
तो आज क्या डिस्चार्ज करने वाले हैं उनको?
नहीं, पेशेंट अभी भी कस्टडी में है ना, तो उसके बारे में अभी कुछ अपडेट नहीं है और अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन है।
मतलब हेल्थ कंडीशन के हिसाब से आज डिस्चार्ज नहीं हो?
हेल्थ के कंडीशन से आज अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन है हमारे। हाँ,
और ऐसे नॉर्मल क्या स्टेबल सिचुएशन है, क्या बोल?
स्टेबल, हायर साइड बीपी है, पल्पिटेशन है।
तो अभी सिर्फ उनका प्रॉब्लम हायर बीपी है और बाकी कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं?
और कुछ नहीं।
तो बीपी जब सेटल हो जाएगा तो वो डिस्चार्ज कर सकते हैं उनको, सिर्फ बीपी का ही प्रॉब्लम?
वो पुलिस कस्टडी में है ना, वो डिस्चार्ज नहीं होंगे, वो पुलिस के पास ही जाएंगे फिर।
हॉस्पिटल से डिस्चार्ज हो सकते हैं, सिर्फ बीपी का प्रॉब्लम
सेटल हो गया तो।
It is such a shame. As the doctor says, his only issue is blood pressure, but he's given bail. Medical grounds indeed. Now, Viewers, Republic's investigation reveals Ramesh Matre is being kept at the hospital under police security. The video shows how the police are protecting the VVIP accused Shiv Sena corporator Ramesh Matre. Take a look.
डॉक्टर इसमें है ना शिंदे तो आप लोगों का ड्यूटी अभी चालू है, जब आप लोगों का ड्यूटी खत्म होगा उसका मतलब उसको डिस्चार्ज करेंगे।
हमारा ड्यूटी अलग है, उनके साथ नहीं है। अच्छा, मेरा ड्यूटी अलग है।
तो आपको यहाँ पे क्यों पोस्टिंग है? यहाँ पे क्यों पोस्टिंग है?
ये प्रिजनर वार्ड है ना पूरा। हाँ, ये सेपरेट नहीं है, पूरा प्रिजनर वार्ड है।
तो असं आहे काय सगळ्या आरोग्य
म्हणजे प्रत्येक आरोग्याला वेगळी सिक्युरिटी आहे।
तर त्यांचं सिक्युरिटी कोण आहे?
उनको कितने तत्काल एडमिट किया
मुझे कुछ मालूम नहीं, मैं आज देखने आया, मेरा आरोग्य अलग है।
अच्छा,
तो हमारा कुछ
तो उससे मिल नहीं सकते आप?
नहीं, अलाउड ही नहीं है, इसीलिए हम बैठे नहीं, अंदर अलाउड ही नहीं।
तो ये लोग तो जाते हैं,
ये काम करें।
Advocate Susiben Shah, Chief National Spokesperson for the Shiv Sena, joins us. Advocate Shah, the local court granted bail to him. Of course they did. But what was he remanded for? What were the charges against him? If we actually see them, Advocate Shah, we realize that these are very serious charges. He's already been earlier also charged in criminal cases. It's only after pressure built up from the Indian Medical Association, the doctors had to protest that there would be a shutdown of the clinics, that first he was arrested. And so coolly, so calmly, he gets bail. Today when we spoke to the doctors, they said he just has blood pressure. On what grounds are we morally really going to be speaking for the Shiv Sena corporator Ramesh Matre?
Good evening to you and to all your viewers. Let me tell you this, the bail granted by the judge, the honorable judge of the trial court, was on the basis of the precedent followed by the courts of law. There are set precedents why a bail should be given, and if it's satisfied, and you yourself said that he has his body is functioning only because of one kidney. Now his various other allegations or FIR is lodged, I am not aware, and I'm sure it's in public domain, and whatever necessary investigation needs to be done, it will be done. But as far as Shiv Sena is concerned, We have condemned the incidents. Our Dr. Shrikant Shinde, who himself is an orthopedic surgeon, who himself is an MP, a 15-year MP from
ma'am, with due respect, we do know the law, and we do know when you talk about how bail is given on medical conditions, and you have all the fancy doctors with you. But that's exactly my point.
So how can you drag? I think it's rather irresponsible.
How is it irresponsible? I'll just tell you, bail, not norm. I agree is the norm of the day.
Level the allegations.
Well, I'll tell you about allegations when we see what he did. He assaulted doctors at the municipal Shastri Nagar hospital. The police had said that he should not be given bail. He assaulted doctors. I only want to ask you, what do you say about the assault on the doctors? I ask you that.
Doctors, it is completely condemnable. I appeared on your show with Mr. Arnab Goswami and very, very categorically said that it is condemnable. It is out of, no one can take law in its own hand, and especially Shiv Sena will not tolerate any harm done to public servants, doctors, nurses. It is just not done. Maharashtra and Mahayuti government is a law-abiding government, and we will stand by whosoever is right without any fear or favor.
So now, have you, ma'am, come today trying to support the Shiv Sena corporator? Will you be supporting his actions?
We have sent him a show cause notice on the 10th of July. Everyone must have the opportunity to be heard, whether it's a political party or whether it is in democracy or whether it is any public investigation. Accordingly,
now, Advocate Shah, he's getting VIP treatment in the hospital. Our investigation shows that.
I am not subscribing to, nor am I aware of any VIP treatment. He is a 73-year-old man. He has some difficulties, health exigencies. He's working with one kidney, and maybe the judge felt fit that he should be given a bail. Now, for you to suggest or to imply that Shiv Sena was instrumental in giving him a bail is spreading a false narrative. It is not the case. We have served him show cause notice, and we will do what is necessary to set a precedent that no public representative, and especially a public representative, raise hands or act violently towards any nurse, doctor, or even a bureaucrat, that matters.
So, Advocate Shah, I'm going to take you up on that resolve and promise that you've said the Shiv Sena has, and I'm going to see what action is taken against Mr. Matre. Thank you for being with us. Viewers, the other top focus story that we're going to show you, there are tensions that are continuing to escalate in West Asia. India has sent its strongest message yet. New Delhi condemns the attack on commercial vessels, demands safe and uninterrupted navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. We urge Iran and its adversaries to immediately de-escalate. India has also launched a strong protest with Tehran after an Indian national was killed. Several others were injured in the attacks.
India has unequivocally condemned the attacks on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, calling for the immediate restoration of safe and uninterrupted maritime navigation. MEA spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal confirmed that India summoned Iran's deputy chief of mission while also emphasizing the security of international shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
We strongly condemned what has happened. We lost a precious Indian life, and there are several Indian nationals who have been injured, and a couple of them are also seriously injured. So we conveyed our strongest protest with the Iranian side on this particular matter, that these attacks, which we condemn, and take the path of dialogue and diplomacy so that peace and stability can be ensured in West Asia.
New Delhi has now fully stressed that dialogue and diplomacy remain the only sustainable path to restoring peace, stability, and security in West Asia.
At our top focus story, viewers, and this time there's a major controversy that's erupted. This time it's the Patna High Court. A rape case. The Patna High Court said there was no attempt to rape. The Supreme Court, remember, earlier had flagged the Patna High Court and then no attempt to rape ruling. After, remember, the Allahabad High Court order that had said that there was no rape, and there were no charges made out because of the groping of the breasts of a woman. Another controversial sexual offence verdict comes. The Supreme Court has questioned even this. The larger picture is the Supreme Court says there needs to be judicial sensitivity in cases of sexual offence. There is lack of research. The Supreme Court has wrapped the Patna High Court. I'm going to go across to a reaction coming in from senior advocate in the Supreme Court, Nalin Kohli.
Fortunate. It's very unfortunate because after the judgment of the Allahabad High Court, the Honorable Supreme Court had clearly come out with a set of directives and clearly said that these should be adhered to. The very fact that this is being repeated in another High Court of the country means somewhere or the other this important ruling of the Honorable Supreme Court had not been taken note of. And it has taken the Supreme Court to send out that message very clearly, unequivocally today, that all these guidelines which have been prepared must be circulated to the high courts, to all concerned, because after all, you can't have a situation where high courts will pass orders or judgments that are in clear contradiction or not adhering to what the Supreme Court has laid down as specific guidelines.
So, but how can the public confidence in the justice system be maintained if similar judgments keep coming on?
Well, first of all, the judgment itself, for obvious reasons, has come under cloud and under question. The Supreme Court, no less than the Supreme Court itself, has stepped in. And it is the bench of the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice Suryakant. So that is, it's been taken note of at the highest level. Additionally, the very fact that a corrective message has been sent out means that the justice delivery system is concerned about these kind of things and is keeping abreast with it and reacting to it in the positive sense or responding to it in the positive sense as required. Additionally and finally, most important, ultimately judges are human beings. So some of them will make mistakes, and that is why you have a graded system of appeals right up to the Supreme Court. So I think we should not look at it as a comment on the entirety of the judiciary and those who are doing a great job. Now, whatever is to be corrected will get corrected, and in this stage, in this particular case, it has been.
So can such judicial observation discourage survivors from reporting sexual crimes?
That is something which I think you're asking a very, very good question in that sense. It's pertinent that even how to cover an incident that involves an allegation of rape or a child, these are sensitive issues. Thankfully, many of the leading channels like your channel are aware of it and they follow it. But at the wider scale, when you have the proliferation of media and people at all levels from local right up to national, new channels keep coming, new channels on other mediums, social media keep coming. So I think everyone needs to take note, and widespread dissemination of this among the media is also important.
I'm joined by Satyam Singh, advocate on the story. Satyam Singh, what is the Supreme Court saying and why is it so difficult for the high courts of the country to understand this? In this particular case, of course, the Supreme Court took up the Allahabad High Court suo moto case. That's a bench of Justice Suryakant that's hearing this matter. What happened in the Allahabad High Court is very clear. There was grabbing of the breasts of a minor girl, breaking the strings of her pajama, trying to drag her beneath the culvert, but yet they said it's not attempt of rape. Here in the Patna High Court, the allegations are that there was a woman whose salwar was trying to be removed. She was being physically molested. There was pressing of her chest, and yet the High Court said this does not constitute attempt to rape. I understand the Supreme Court's agonizing fear or what they are feeling, but what will it take for the courts of the country to be more sensitive to women?
See, when we talk about that, even CGI commented rightly on this particular issue when and CGI lamented a lack of thorough research prior to delivering such, judgments, and also conveyed that the bench should pass a detailed order dealing with Patna High Court decisions. So when we talk about, when we deal with such kind of cases, we need to be sensitive, and there are several judgments. And if I tell you, in last few years, and particularly in last few months, be it Allahabad High Court, be it Jharkhand High Court, be it Patna High Court, it is, continuously happening such kind of judgments, such kind of orders coming from the Allahabad High Court, coming from a Patna High Court. So I think the National Judicial Academy's expert committee guidelines, which has to be followed by all the high courts and district courts, and Supreme Courts, apprise the fact this committee has done the commendable job, in such matters. And this is very required when you pass, pass such kind of judgment. The major fact is that you need to be very sensitive. You need to deal with the very sensitive hands. You cannot pass such kind of orders, or you cannot pass such kind of statement in such judgments.
All right. Thank you for giving us that completely correct perspective. And we just hope that the high courts realize that women do have rights and sexual harassment is extremely serious. Thank you for being with us, Satyam. Viewers, coming up after a short break, day after Tamil Nadu government issues anti-bribery helpline, the TVK leader is caught red-handed accepting a bribe. Much more on this after a short break. Stay on with us.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
ये वही हैं, ये प्रश्न उठाने वाले लोग वही हैं जो लोग आज श्री राम जन्मभूमि में चोरी के बारे में इतना हो हल्ला कर रहे हैं। याद करना, श्री राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर के बारे में प्रश्न उठा रहे हैं। घटना जो भी घटित हुई दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण थी और ट्रस्ट के द्वारा जो सिफारिश की गई उसके अनुसार, जो अनुरोध किया गया उसके अनुसार एक एसआईटी उसकी जांच कर रही है, उस पर कार्रवाई भी हो रही है, उसमें कोई वो नहीं। प्रश्न ये उठता है कि जिसमें एक जांच एजेंसी पहले से जांच करके कार्रवाई कर रही है और उसके अनुरूप ट्रस्ट ने कार्रवाई भी प्रारंभ की है, नैतिक आधार पर भी इस्तीफा दिए और उस पर प्रश्न उठाए जा रहे हैं और सीधे सीधे आस्था की खिलवाड़ की बात हो रही है। आस्था के साथ खिलवाड़ हो रहा, हिंदू धामों पर प्रहार।
And coming up after a short break, Shiv Sena leader Matre released on bail due to high blood pressure. VVIP bail for Matre after he's assaulted doctors makes a mockery of law.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। एमटीएच का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
Ladies and gentlemen, we suspect that Pakistan is back to its old and dirty tricks again, and we have proof which has come with us that they are planning some terrorism in response to our firm decision to keep the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance. Now, we've kept the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance post Pahalgam because that is what they deserve. These are of Lashkar terrorists being trained with some hyperbolic jihadi music in the background. And they are being trained by the Lashkar-e-Toiba. This footage has come out. They are being trained by a US designated Lashkar terrorist called Haris Dar. And these are all Lashkar terrorists. They are being trained, and they are being trained in dams, in waters of dams in Pakistan. And he is addressing these water jihad recruits in front of a water body, and he says, "Agla step hamara dam mein aata hai, Mangla Dam mein. Our issue over water is with India." And then he wants and says, something bigger is going to happen in 2026. That's the video of him on the right, where he says something big is going to happen over the water issue in 2026. Then he's parroting the line of the Pakistani government. Remember, the man on the right is not just any fanatic. He's a US designated, very well-known Lashkar-e-Toiba commander, training what is being called as a water force.
Good evening, welcome to Republic. Our top focus story is going to be how Republic TV Now viewers is going to expose the China link to the CJP protests. There are top left leaders who have been seen even earlier with the Chinese envoys. We're going to get you that breaking story and also tell you how it seems the CJP is yet another big flop show and a farce with motivated conspiracies. First, a look at our top headlines. Republic exposes China's link to CJP protests. Top left leaders seen meeting Abhijit Dipke and attending Chinese embassy event. Top CPIM leaders meet MA Baby, meet CJP founder Dipke, China envoy days before the parliament session.
पूरा बलोच इलाका पाकिस्तान के इख्तियार से निकल चुका था। आज भी वहां पर पाकिस्तान हुकूमत की कोई रिट मौजूद नहीं है। अब तो पश्तून इलाका भी खून में नहा रहा है।
After Imran Khan, another Pakistan politician faces wrath of Pakistan Army. FIR is filed against politicians who exposed Asim Munir's forces. Shiv Sena leader Matre released on bail due to high blood pressure. VVIP Matre assaults doctors and now he makes a mockery of the law. Day after Tamil Nadu government issues anti-bribery helpline, TVK leader is caught red-handed accepting bribe. And Supreme Court pulls up Patna High Court over order that groping women's breast is not an attempt to rape. Supreme Court asks the courts to exercise judicial restraint. Viewers, an FIR has been registered against the Pakistan's politicians who exposed Pak Army. Fazl-ur-Rahman from Pakistan had exposed how Munir's army had lost control of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. He had dared the Pakistan army to contest elections if they want such power. And now, as expected, an FIR has been registered against this politician in Pakistan. Let's listen in to the reaction that's coming in to what Fazl-ur-Rahman had said as he exposed the Pakistan army.
मुल्क उजड़ रहा है। खैबर पख्तूनख्वा में आज कोई हुकूमत नहीं है और मैं वहां से आया हूं। मैं बताना चाहता हूं पंजाब के लोगों कि मगरिब का सूरज गुरूब होने के बाद सुबह सूरज के तुलू होने तक पुलिस अपने थाने से बाहर नहीं आती और जब पुलिस थाने से बाहर नहीं आएगी तो फिर सड़कें मुसल्लह गिरोहों के सपुर्द होंगी। फिर सड़कें और रास्ते डाकुओं के रहम करम पर होंगे। आपकी हाकिमियत को मैं अपने सूबे में जानता हूं। तुम्हारी कोई हुकूमत नहीं है। तुम सिर्फ दारुल हुकूमतों में अपने बड़े बड़े बंगलों के अंदर बैठे हुए हो। टांग पे टांग डालकर समझते हो कि हम हुक्मरान हैं। कम से कम मेरे सूबे में तुम्हारी कोई हुकूमत नहीं है। बलोचिस्तान में, बलोच इलाकों में बगावतें थी। पूरा बलोच इलाका पाकिस्तान के इख्तियार से निकल चुका था। आज भी वहां पर पाकिस्तान हुकूमत की कोई रिट मौजूद नहीं है। लेकिन हम तो बलोच इलाके को रो रहे थे, अब तो पश्तून इलाका भी खून में नहा रहा है। पश्तून इलाके में हमने 2-3 दिन के अंदर 50 से ज्यादा लाशें वसूल की हैं। हमने बाजारों में एक ही काम किया कि अपने प्यारों के लिए कफन खरीद सकें। फिर कहते हैं हमारे जवान भी तो शहीद हो रहे हैं। ओ बाबा, तेरे जवानों ने पेटी इसीलिए बांधी है, तनख्वाह इसी के ले रहे हैं कि उसने मुल्क की सलामती के लिए लड़ना है। तुम अपने खून का मेरे ऊपर क्या एहसान डालते हो? तुम मेरे खून पसीने के टैक्स से इसी बात की नहीं तो तनख्वाह ले रहे हो, लेकिन हमें कहते हो कि तुम लश्कर निकालो, तुम असलहा लेकर मुसल्लह गिरोहों के खिलाफ लड़ो। मैंने कोई तनख्वाह नहीं ली, मैं कोई लश्कर नहीं बनाऊंगा। तुम चले जाओगे, तुम मेरी सरजमीन को आने वाली नस्लों तक जाती दुश्मनियों की तरफ धकेल रहे हो।
As tensions continue to escalate in West Asia, India has sent its strongest message yet. New Delhi has condemned the attack on commercial vessels, demanded safe and uninterrupted navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, and urged Iran and its adversaries to immediately de-escalate. India has lodged a strong protest with Tehran after an Indian national was killed and several others were injured in the attacks.
India has unequivocally condemned the attacks on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, calling for the immediate restoration of safe and uninterrupted maritime navigation. MEA spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal confirmed that India summoned Iran's deputy chief of mission while also emphasizing the security of international shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
We strongly condemned what has happened. We lost a precious Indian life, and there are several Indian nationals who have been injured, and a couple of them are also seriously injured. So we conveyed our strongest protest with the Iranian side on this particular matter, that these attacks, which we condemn, and take the path of dialogue and diplomacy so that peace and stability can be ensured in West Asia.
New Delhi has now fully stressed that dialogue and diplomacy remain the only sustainable path to restoring peace, stability and security in West Asia.
Viewers, a major controversy erupted after the Patna High Court's ruling on sexual offences against women. The Supreme Court has slammed the Patna High Court ruling. The big question that the Supreme Court is now asking is, when will courts stop minimalizing sexual violence? There are big news that's coming in from the Supreme Court that has earlier hearing this case that has been come before them. They're questioning the Patna High Court. The Patna High Court ruling had spoken about what does not constitute rape, and they said what happened with the girl there was not rape. A trial court had said it was rape, but the High Court had started to make details. And let me actually tell you, the case stemmed from a complaint that was made by a woman who alleged she had been accompanied with her father to a photographer's office. After taking his photos, the studio owner asked her father to wait outside. He then bolted the studio door, attempted to remove her salwar, pressed her chest with the intention of committing rape. Yet the Patna High Court said this is not an attempt to rape. Listen into the reactions that are coming in after this blasphemy by the High Court.
It's very unfortunate because after the judgment of the Allahabad High Court, the Honorable Supreme Court had clearly come out with a set of directives and clearly said that these should be adhered to. The very fact that this is being repeated in another High Court of the country means somewhere or the other this important ruling of the Honorable Supreme Court had not been taken note of. And it has taken the Supreme Court to send out that message very clearly, unequivocally today, that all these guidelines which have been prepared must be circulated to the High Courts, to all concerned, because after all, you can't have a situation where High Courts will pass orders or judgments that are in clear contradiction or not adhering to what the Supreme Court has laid down as specific guidelines.
So, but how can the public confidence in the justice system be maintained if similar judgments keep coming on?
Well, first of all, the judgment itself